Guys, Pastor Jason here, one of the pastors at North Park Church here in Columbus, Nebraska. Once again, very grateful to be bringing your life group lesson to you. We're still on our Samson series, part 3 this time, and we actually get to start talking about the man Samson himself today, which is pretty cool. A great story. And I do want to encourage you before we get into the lesson, if you have not seen the weekend message, Samson number 3, that this life group corresponds to, stop right now and go watch that. Watch it on YouTube. Or go to InsideNP.com, which is our website, and watch it there, because it really opens things up for you. So you need to go watch that right now if you have not yet, and then get back to this. But for those of you that were here for the message or have seen it online, let's go ahead and get into Samson. Our key verses today are from Judges 14, verses 1 through 4. So I'm going to go ahead and read those right now. You guys follow along in your Bibles, and then we will jump into some discussion questions. All right, here we go. Samson went down to Timnah, and to Timnah he saw one of the daughters of the Philistines. Then he came up and told his father and mother, "I saw one of the daughters of the Philistines at Timnah. Now go get her for me as my wife." But his father and mother said to him, "Is there not a woman among the daughters of your relatives or among all our people that you must go to take a wife from the uncircumcised Philistines?" But Samson said to his father, "Get her for me, for she is right in my eyes." His father and his mother did not know that it was from the Lord, for he was seeking an opportunity against the Philistines. At the time, the Philistines ruled over Israel. Okay. So question 1, question I like to ask just to kind of get things primed, get discussion going. What stands out to you from our key verses? Pray about that and briefly discuss that, and then we'll jump into the rest of the questions. Do that now. Okay, hope you had fun with that. We'll get right into question 2 here. What impression of Samson do you get from these verses? Should be fun to talk about that. Do it now. Okay, so obviously Samson is a guy who would, he'd be really adored, heralded, respected in our culture. He's a guy that obviously just goes after what he wants and doesn't let anything stand in his way, isn't paying attention to the counsel. He sees what he wants and blazes right in there to get it, right? I think we can kind of, even if we don't know the story of Samson, and most of you probably do, we can infer that he's a relatively gifted guy and he doesn't think twice about just blazing in with whatever he needs to do to get whatever he wants. You know, that's kind of the impression we get of Samson here. And, such a poignant story for us in our culture. It's just really hitting home as I study this and read this lately, how much I can relate and how much really everybody that I work with should be able to relate. Just such a great story. So we'll move forward here a little bit. We'll get into question 3. This question has a couple different parts. So before we discuss it, I'll just go ahead and ask it. According to verse 3, in verse 3, what is motivating Samson's parents? What they say in verse 3, what is their motivation? Second part of this question, do you have people in your life with that same motivation? And if you do you see them as a blessing or as a curse? Really pray about this and let the Holy Spirit speak to you. Be honest with yourselves and with your group. What is Samson's parents' motivation in verse 3? Why do they say what they say? Do you have people in your life with the same sort of motivation that Samson's parents have? And do you see those people as a blessing or a curse? Talk about that now. Okay, this is just such an important question. Samson's parents' motivation obviously is to follow God and to help their son have the most pain-free godly life that he can. Especially in our culture, it's easy to maybe make the mistake of thinking that their motivation has something to do with opposing people that were different than them. Some sort of hateful motivation, but that's not it at all. They are just really trying to follow the Lord and really trying to encourage their son to do the same and help him in his walk. Do you have people with that motivation in your life? If you are following Jesus, you do, whether you recognize it or not. God is going to put people with godly motivation in your life to help you along the way. So And the reason that I asked the third part of this question, do you see them as a blessing or a curse? Because I think it's easy to just jump to, oh, well, of course I see them as a blessing. God put them in my life. I know them at church, you know. But it's also easy for people to assume that they see godly people in their lives as a blessing, but then disregard any sort of godly prayerful counsel that they get from those people, just like Samson did. So we want to be aware of these things in our life. So we'll move on to question 4 now. I'm going to get personal here, even more personal. You know, Samson is full of temptation. He just sees something, goes after it, right? Doesn't even think twice about it. Name a temptation or an idol in your life that continues to have the potential to cost you dearly. We all have them. And if you want some help, I encourage you, someone in your group right now, to go ahead and read 2 Timothy 2:22 through 24. That kind of opens some things up, maybe give you some ideas. So go ahead and talk about that now. What is a temptation or an idol that continues to have the potential to cost you dearly, were you to fix your eyes on it or chase after it? Be willing to be honest, be transparent about this, pray about it, talk about it now. All right, and for question 5, you know, Job 31:1 says, I made a covenant with my eyes not to look lustfully. Made a covenant. Man, not just, well, you know, I'm going to do what I can not to get my eyes focused on the wrong things. No, he made a covenant. This is like a sacred agreement. I am not going to look lustfully. You know, not going to, as Lynn said in the weekend message, do the double take. Not going to get hung up on that thought, you know. Not going to be dominated by that sort of thinking. Made a covenant. Question 5. Will you make a covenant with yourself right now to flee from that temptation or idol that has the potential to cost you dearly? That could be any number of things. You know, maybe it's looking lustfully. Maybe it's the wrong books. Maybe it's the wrong movies. Maybe it's the wrong people. Maybe it's the wrong places. It could be anything. Pray about it. Be willing to make a covenant with yourself right now to flee from that temptation or that idol that has the potential to cost you dearly. That's your life group for this week. I hope you've had a great time, and I'll be back with you next week.